Welcome back to Proving Grounds, folks. Presented and powered by Verizon. We just saw an amazing game one between No Org and Barrage. No Org, you saw on the screen, didn't exactly have the best start here, and they lost a couple fights in the early game, especially over this dragon. But all it takes is one great fight, even though No Org was quite behind in the early game. All it takes was that amazing call on the Baron and also on the dragon to turn everything around. We see here No Org, they get a little bit caught out, and eventually everything gets turned around. But I am not alone in this endeavor. Again, I'm joined here by Cubby, and what a game one, am I right?
Yeah, and I think that, as you pointed out, XT, that Baron call from Barrage, they were up 2K, they got a little bit frisky with their lead, kind of tripped over their feet, trying to snowball that one through. And Nor, you cannot afford to make mistakes against a team that has won the last 3 tournaments they've competed in. They take that small mistake, turn it into a full win. As it was so fun watching Noorg punish the mobile carries of Barrage. I mean, like, watch Viper. He got on APA in the last fight. He gets on Gorica twice in this one as he's able to find the turn onto the 80 carry of Barrage. And just the slimmest of margins, Noorg, they take advantage of it, and they manage to take the win. A beautiful flash follow from Fire as well to capitalize off the CC that Viper put down. And Noorg, I mean, we were prepping the early game team versus the mid to late game team fighting team. The fact that Barrage, they love to skirmish, they love to play in those team fights. And Noorg, they just took the Seraphine mid and kind of beat them at their own game, XT.
Yeah, definitely. And no, we're back here now on the casting desk here today. And something I really kind of want to note is that, the more I think about it, that composition was built to kind of just empower Viper on the Renekton, who just tore through the rest of Barrage every single time. Unfortunately, the rest of Barrage were just clumped up, and that just allowed, Viper to just get one empowered E or one empowered Q, and you're just gone from the fight. And unfortunately, now you have to go back onto the drawing board. I'm not really too sure who's going to start on what side yet, but one thing is for sure, you're back on the drawing board for Barrage, and you want to make sure that if No Org are playing the same game you are, you can't let them have that ease of execution.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if we have a side swap coming in. We talked about Noorg's preference for blue side and the success that they find, but I love the fact that you're highlighting Viper, because we talked about, how Viper and Ando, they're kind of the 2 all-stars on this team, and everyone else is just that fantastic role player that makes sure that everything works out well. I think that we saw that from Viper in that game, right? I mean, the fact that he blinded this Renekton, he got the lead versus PCL, and then in those late game fights, he was the one that was actually finding the carries on the Renekton, making sure that they were the ones that got popped. The play that this guy has been showing in Amateur, he is one of the best players in this tournament. He might just be the best top laner in this tournament, coming in from the Amateur squad. And watching how confident he's playing, how much he's enabled to step up by the rest of his team, and what Viper's doing with these leads in the game. I mean, there's a reason that Noorg plays to make sure this guy is ahead, right? And he kind of showed us that in the last game. Even if Noorg's early game was suspect, he can still be the one that carries the game as the game goes on, even on the Renekton in the late game, right? He was the one finding the Suns and getting the backline access, thanks to also the setups from Big and Fire, who I think were real highlight players for me. I love the flexibility of Fire in the mid lane. We talk so much about the roamers. Now he plays the team fighting Seraphine and just plays it to perfection.
Yeah, and now, if we end up in the right side, you know what that means? Somebody's getting that counter pick if you're on No Org, and that person could very well be Viper. So now, if I'm looking to try to draft here, I'm stuck in a situation where you're looking at Noorg, who has the strongest blue side showings out of this whole entire tournament, and now you can give someone who just popped off in game one the potential for counter pick. Cubby, it's gonna be looking tough. I don't think it's out of it for Barrage just yet. I think they still have a lot left on their plate. Something I kind of want to highlight, right? You talked about a little bit, 100% win rate on Skarner, very high percent win rate on the Hecarim. If you put Fnatic on something that he's comfortable with, he could potentially run away with the game, while his Udyr statistics, not exactly the best.
Yeah, and I think Fnatic's Udyr that game, I'm not as sure about, the initial clear, skipping over that Krug's camp. I thought it ended up okay, and he made some nice plays throughout, notably finding Fire in the mid lane, stealing that dragon, that beautiful teamfight setup from Barrage. I mean, that is like the beauty of Barrage and the dragon replay that we saw, where they got PCL and that deep TP ward. Winter and him were on both flanks, and they were just able to pincer and crush the team comp of Noorg. That's the kind of play that we've seen out of Barrage throughout all these amateur tournaments. And We have so much footage of both these teams, right? Norg, they've played 71 games so far in the amateur season. Barrage, I think they're almost up to 90 now in the total games they've played. And so it's kind of fun, watching both teams develop their own unique styles and then watching them clash. And I love now seeing the flexibility out of Norg as well. Like, this is something that we haven't seen as much from them. And if they want to be a top team, they want to push for the championship in Proving Grounds, they're going to need that flexibility as they go up against some of these better academy teams. I love the fact that they showed it there against Barrage, who, they're an amateur team, but man, Barrage, I think at this point, the amateur teams have proven they can go punch for punch with the academy teams. I think it's just the teams in this tournament. And I think that these are two teams that are both vying for good finishes in this tournament, going toe-to-toe in this bracket. I'm just excited to see what happens in Game 2 and if Barrage can even the score.
Yeah, it's a very scary thought. When you talked to me earlier, like, as friends, one of the things we were both talking about was, like, we never talked about team fights for Noah. We talked about their ability to roam and make plays and get those early game leads. But now you're giving the one of the strongest roaming teams the ability to also team fight extremely well. You have to really wonder, what can you do to beat this Noah squad? I'm really hoping to see we get some answers in game number 2, or we just see Noah become that dominant force in this side of the bracket. Again, Evil Genius Prodigies are going to be watching to see who they face of this winner here. But Barrage, again, we can't count them out. They have a lot of tricks back in their bags. And, a player I think is feeling really confident heading into this game. Winter, his performance on Alistar was superb. Responsible for getting a lot of these early game fights in the favor of Barrage. Unfortunately, towards the late game, not really much when your All-Star can do when you're just up against 3 people who are just looking to lock you down.
Yeah, and it's fun in a game that close where, you get some good moments out of all 10 players on the Rift. That re-engage from Winter coming off that Dragon fight to the bottom lane where he was able to headbutt someone in the wall and get the 3-man flash pull. I mean, that's impeccable. I think that on the flip side of the coin too, Big and Fire consistently found the engages that actually brought Noorg back into the game and bought the space for Viper to really wreak havoc in the backline on this Renekton. I mean, the team play we saw out of both these teams, I'd say both playing at a very high level. It was just a really fun Game 1 to watch, as that was a back and forth one, and I'm hoping that Game 2 can deliver as we are waiting for these teams to get into the lobby. Hopefully we're able to see if we get a side swap or not as well. As actually, just getting word from our producers that Barrage, they've chosen red side for Game 2. So
wow, okay.
Once again, they are opting to play into Noorg's blue side kingdom. They are the team that has the best record of it out of all the teams in amateur, now being 4-6 against Noorg on blue side. I know it's a losing win rate, but when you're Noorg and you have like a 77% win rate, you've only lost 12 games all season on blue side out of the 52 you've played. I'd say that's pretty damn good. So we're going to have to see if Barrage can keep up their reputation for using red side to success against this team and keep on giving them the close series that we've seen throughout all of amateur. I think that Game 1 delivered. Going to have to see if Game 2 can now as well.
Well, we're going to have to see just that. And in the Proving Grounds powered by Verizon, we are going to see how this Game 2 paints as we are headed into the picks and bans here. What are we going to see?
Well, I don't know about you. I think we're going to see Twisted Fate banned first by Barrage again.
This is true.
I don't think Fire is going to be allowed to play that champion. I know that APA is actually a relatively decent Twisted Fate as well. I think the adaptation actually from Barrage, if anything, could come on that R3 pick. Last time we saw the Alistar, the Handshake into Rel. It's Winter's most played. It's a powerful champion. But then you had the Orianna and the Victor taken away from APA, two champions that have really gotten to Barrage to this point. The Victor played in both games against Team Liquid, as Barrage did take that 2-0 win. I think that if Barrage, if they want to run back the draft to that point and then make the change there, maybe that's what they need to come out on top in this one. Give APA a mage that he's a little bit more comfortable with, can play a few more matchups into, and then, make sure that Gorica Winter still have a decent setup in that bot side as well. I think that's the adaptation that we might see coming out of Barrage.
Yeah, so far we're seeing a lot of the common bans we've seen for both teams, and now you have to really wonder, do we ban the Seraphine here, do we ban the Udyr here, or do we go with our previous ban from last game? Gnar and Twisted Fate, both very strong champions, no, or you always got to take that away from them, and you have to really wonder if they don't ban away the Seraphine, Noorg's going to go with what they did before, and now Seraphine ban just leaves Solution up. What are you thinking?
I just love the hover from Viper, because Viper, he's actually been known for playing the marksman in the top lane. He's played Lucian, Tristana, Vayne, Kalista, like combined more than 10 games throughout their season. And so I just love the hover. I think kind of playing some mind games with BRG, as that was their last ban in the first game. But I don't expect this coming out from the side of Norg. I expect it to be the Udyr for Anda, who on this champion, on the Udyr, it's his second most played. He has 12 games so far. He's 9-3 on the champion for No Org. And one of the things that makes, this side so powerful for them is the fact they can just first pick Udyr and run from there, as he has been one of the strongest junglers for the last few patches, and something that Anda uses to great success.
And we do see the Volibear hover already. To kind of want to just get it, maybe as a potential flex. We talked about it earlier, or maybe we haven't. We haven't seen Fnatic play that Volibear jungle just yet, so we're not really too sure where it's going to go. But meanwhile, this could be a R2 ADC. Kai'Sa's still available, but no, it's going to be the Rel takeaway from Big. You got to remember, Big was also a huge proponent on following up on those Seraphine ultimates or the Lilia ultimates there. Very successful in game number 1. No surprises here. I think Winter going to take that powerful pick away and see what they could do. And now No Org has to wonder, are you going to get that take away that Kai'Sa there, or are you just going to go ahead and make this Rel's life a little bit harder? They're hovering the Morgana right now.
Could be the Senna Tom Kench for No Org. It's something that has been their bread and butter, but instead hovering some champions that pair pretty well with Caitlyn, and instead just going to take the other end of the handshake as they take the Alistar and the Kai'Sa. I like the Kai'Sa takeaway. It is Gorika's most played by a long shot. He has 32 games on Kai'Sa throughout their season. Keep in mind, it's about a third of the games that BRG has played, but his next most played is Jhin at 11. So that takeaway, it's a really big pick for BRG. It would pair relatively well with what they have so far. Now, we talked about getting APA, one of those mages that he feels really comfortable on. That is going to be the move, so Gorika is going to have his pool narrowed a little bit. I expect the Xayah to be banned away by No Org, and most likely Tristana as well. But notably, last time at this pick, this is when the Alistar was taken to go into the Rel. BRG now able to secure a mage for APA and not have the Orianna Victor taken away by No Org. So going to have to see which mid laners they ban out in response to make sure that Fire is thrown off a little bit, as No Org already have a really big front line prepped up for this Kai'Sa, and I'm looking for them to pair a little bit of dive with it so Kai'Sa can have someone to engage upon with.
Yeah. And you also got to remember, I think you got to remember, Anda right now, his Lilia is still available. If I'm No Org right now, or that's a B1 Udyr. I completely forgot. Let's ignore everything I just said, folks. We all make mistakes sometimes. Gorika's champ pool is instead get a bit banned away.
It's winnable. It's fine.
It is winnable, sir.
We still got this. Yeah, still winnable.
It is quite winnable. Azir also could get banned away. Could leave up something, we still have something like the set, which Fire has played a couple times. I don't think it's going to be a good fit here. I don't think you want to double down on having too much front line here. But for Gorika, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Tristan ban that you were talking about. No jungle hits here, however, for our boy Fnatic. And again, it looks like PCO may take that Volibear top. He does lose his Camille, so we're not really too sure just yet on what BRG are looking to do here. They're looking for an ADC, though, in R4.
Yeah, they're going to take an AD carry to hold this flex. Once again, Fnatic has yet to play the Volibear. Now, I know that Volibear is a very mechanically demanding champion, right? Like, pressing Q or R at the right time, very difficult at times. So we're going to have to see if Fnatic can play that. I'm sure he can, but hasn't played it yet this season. Important to note. Volibear jungle, hasn't really come into the meta until this past patch. So I expect that Fnatic's able to do it, but PCL is now 6-2 on the Volibear throughout the season as well. That was only his second loss on the champion in that last game, and I think that he looked relatively strong on the pick throughout the game as well. So definitely is comfort for him. Viper still has the Renekton to go for as well. We mentioned how powerful that was. I was also going to bring up Fire Zoe. This is kind of the
pick I forgot about.
Yeah, that's the Zoe is potentially the flavor that we see coming out of No Org as actually going to be a late pivot to Viper's Jace, which is also undefeated so far this season. Yeah, well, it's an NA Jace, but he's played it 6 times and has yet to lose. As
that is true.
This is, to be fair, a blind pick, so curious to see if BRG are able to match a counter to it. But this has been a pick that Viper is very, very good on. And would not be surprised if we see a Zoe come in here as well, just to double down on the poke, and that's exactly what No Org is going to go for. So once again, more of the early game focus that we were expecting out of this team in draft.
Yeah, this is really looking like a classic Norga composition. They're looking to get that early game. They're looking to do what they do best. But now Barrage, you have to wonder, what are they missing? I feel like they're a little bit low, or maybe a little bit low on the damage. I'm not really too sure. Maybe we could see an Olaf here for Fnatic if PCL decides to take it up top. No, wow, okay, we're going to get some more engaged. Rock Monster going to get hovered here. And it's going to be Sion.
Rock
Sion
Monster?
going to be locked in, and we're going to be looking at Fnatic's first game on that Volibear to see if they continue their upper bracket run or if they will be sent to the lower bracket where TSM Academy waits to see who they will fight next week.
I just can't get over the fact that you just said Rock Monster. To be fair,
I mean, that's what Malphite
in
is.
the last game, there have been some jokes around NA about, like Tristana looking like Malphite ults for rocket jumps. I feel like Value, the early parts, was trying to imitate a little bit of Malphite there. Fortunately, was able to realize his role and really perform well on those late game AD carries. But once again, for Barrage, it's different picks, but the same flavor for them, right? A two-threat comp. We're focused on getting Gorica a lot of resets. Whereas Noorg, they've strayed a little bit from that team fight focus. Now they have a very powerful laning phase, a lot of priority coming out from the Zoe to make sure that Anda's able to get off to that powerful start. And if they're able to get ahead and get control of the river and take away vision from Barrage, it's going to be so difficult for them to set up for these objectives going up against the poke that Zoe and Jace have to offer. So I want to see what kind of response Barrage is going to have for this early game that Noorg has been so known for on the blue side. Keep in mind, as a team, Noorg on blue side, they average being up 2.5k gold at 15 minutes. Barrage, they were able to deny the gold lead. They had one for themselves in the first game, but this is a comp that we're more used to seeing from Noorg, a little bit back to their comfort zone, and something that has given them success throughout the entire amateur season, and one of the reasons that they've won the last 3 tournaments they've competed in.
And, if there's someone I'm really keeping my eyes off here for Barrage, APA on that Orianna is going to be looking to shake things up into team fights. You know how much damage the Shockwave could do, but we're going to be heading into game here. Noorg against Barrage, game number 2 in this best of 3 here for our final day of week number 2 in the Proving Grounds, powered by Verizon. So let's not waste any more time. Looks like both teams looking to get a little bit of early vision here as Viper gonna mess with PCL a little bit.
Yeah, we're all good. As I think notably important to note here, Five Fire on Zoe. So we talked a lot about the blue side power from Noorg and how Five Fire is so comfortable with these blind picks. He is, in 12 games played on Zoe, he is 10-2 on the champion. And in his career on Zoe, he's 18-2. This was the first season he's actually dropped a game or multiple games on Zoe. Such a powerful pick, something that he plays so well. And him and Anda are going to have to rely on some of that pre-existing experience they had with EG when Fire was a sub for Giyu in the mid lane, and also just the synergy they built throughout this entire season, as this is a matchup that's relatively difficult for the Orianna to play. She's under a lot of poke and siege in the early game. And APA really has evolved his play, has upped his mage play to be able to rival this. And this is going to be another tough task for him to see if he's upped his game in this series to try and keep Five Fire, at least stop him from getting out of control in this mid lane, like we've seen him do on the Zoe so many times before. Yeah,
and it looks like both junglers right now are going to be looking for a early game full clear here, as we do see Fnatic going to be going on that Krugs. Other thing I kind of want to know, Predator on the Volibear instead of the press attack, something I would assume is uncommon. I myself hasn't really seen a Predator Volibear, but he's going to be extremely fast when it comes to it. Is going to get spotted out by a ward, going to be able to clear it, as Five Fire going to be looking to bully poor little Volibear a little bit, but shouldn't really mean too much. But that is going to be intel saying that where is the Volibear going to be for a majority of the game now? Is going to be in the bot side for the next few minutes.
Yeah, Five Fire poking his nose in, but Volibear is able to secure those chicky nuggies for himself. And it's going to be moving on. And so the Predator on Volibear, it's something a little bit new that teams have been playing around with. Does enable him to go fast to capitalize on flanks that Volibear is able to create a little bit quicker. And flanks, something that Barrage used as so much success when they found their early lead in Game 1. Going to be imperative once again in this Game 2, creating angles on this poke siege comp, because they have to start the fight quickly before Jace Zoe just take away the health bars of Barrage before the objective even spawns. It's going to be really big key, as we do see Viper already taking an early lead in the top lane on this Jace. As to be expected, in this matchup, but once again, a pick that he has played to so much success, sitting at 6-0 on the champion throughout this season. Something that has been so powerful for him, and fun fact, has been blind picked every time.
Yeah, it is.
He's
definitely
really
a lot
good.
to take in. Yeah, he's very good at League of Legends. I wouldn't be too surprised myself. We do see though Volibear a little bit late to the Scuttle clear, but that's to be expected. Right now, Udyr is one of the fastest junglers in the game, and something else to really note. Some micro attack, something that makes both these junglers very strong. They can do that Gromp and Blue at the same time, allowing him to get to that Scuttle a little bit faster than normal. And no, now we're going to have to see. Both these junglers going to be finishing that Ione Boots of Lucidity, the preferred start of items for most junglers now, believe it or not. And we're going to have to really see where they're going to be taking their presence here. If I were someone to guess on who's getting that first dragon, my money is actually on Barrage here, simply just because they have the better level 6 power spike.
Well, that, and also Gorka, if he elects to, burn mana to use the fish bones, it does AoE on the minions as well, giving him wave control. And I want to see if Barrage used that to maybe get an early Drake, as PCL, nice deny on the jump against Viper, is going to create a very positive trade for him in this lane. One of the nice parts about Sion in the Jace, if you are able to get down those Qs, obviously Jace does have the cancel with the knockaway, but good play coming out from the top laner of Barrage, and Fnatic gonna pay a little bit of a visit. This is a tricky wave state for
the
Viper.
Predator.
Oh, they're trading.
Goes for the stun and looking for a lot of damage, but now the teleport is going to be coming in. PCO gets the first blood, but will Fire avenge his fallen? He does have the Proto Belt to be able to take down Fnatic, and that is just going to be first blood here. But now Anda going to be running towards the top side, looking to see if he can avenge his fallen comrade. Maybe looking to flash over the wall and get the stun. I wouldn't do that if I were him, so PCO just going to go on back here as Winter, maybe look for something mid, but I think Big should just get on out of here, as that's going to be first blood going over to Barrage, but at what cost? That's going to be a kill going on over to Zoe. As Flasher is very comfortable with champ.
I actually really like that trade for Barrage, right? Because they take away the TP of Fire, and now you're in a state where you can see Fnatic going now to the bottom side of the map. APA, he has the option now to TP back to mid lane, guarantee the fact that they're going to have priority, and then use his bot lane push to secure the dragon. So while Fire is able to salvage that kill in the top lane, this is going to keep the tempo in the hands of Barrage, and they should be able to use this push to grant themselves that first dragon early if they want to make that play.
Yep, we'll have to really see if that's what they want to do. Ocean Drake is nefarious for being like one of the best early game dragons you can get, simply because of region you can have. But Anda, on the other hand, is just looking to see if he can get a gank onto the mid lane. But Gorka and Fnatic, along with Winter on the side, just going to go ahead and take this for themselves.
Good map play coming out from Barrage, using the priority they had in bot lane, the tempo they created from APA using that TP in the mid lane to take a clean dragon for Fnatic and for the rest of the team. And I love this from PCL as well, and this kind of shows you the role that PCL has in this team. He doesn't take a lot of resources, and he actually just went to drop that ward, so he's going to lose quite a few extra creeps for this, but this helps Fnatic and prevents Anda from potentially sneaking into the top side, which could be a response while you know that Fnatic's on the bot side of the map. So just Barrage, showing a little bit more of their style, showing the fact that PCL not afraid to give up resources on the Sion. And one of the reasons that Barrage matches up so well against Noorg is actually the fact that PCL, with little to no resources given to him, has been able to match up the Viper. I know that they burned 2 flashes to get the initial kill onto the top laner of Noorg, but throughout the many games that we've seen out of them, now the 11, he's been able to hold up in this top lane, and that has been key for Barrage in the games they have been able to take off at Noorg.
Yeah, PCL is known for, in my opinion, is probably one of the best weak side top laners in the tournament. He's been doing a great job at just, consistently being able to support. Oh, did I just cast a Curse to?
Yeah, that feels bad.
That cannon minion. That feels bad. Now, I don't really know.
That's the worst feeling on Sion, too, because it's like running away from you, and you're just like looking at it with the low health bar for so long. You're just like, oh man, like, only I snuck in an auto.
Oh, another day, another trade happening in the mid lane. APA gonna just duke it out with Fire. Man, these two are just constantly at it whenever they can, but looks like Fire is just gonna come ahead with this trade. Rift Herald is about to spawn here as APA has to back on out. I wouldn't be too surprised if Anda would just go for this straight up, knowing that there is no one to threaten his presence. Yep,
they forced APA off the turret, and Winter actually in trouble here.
With the face check, that's gonna be Ignite thrown onto Winter there, and he's going to be forced to use a W on out of there. So not exactly the worst trade of the world there, but Big now maybe looking for a re-engage, but we won't really get to see, as now we do see this Rift Herald going to go down, and you have to wonder, where does this go over into top side or mid lane? So many options. Meet me in the bot lane. You know, what do you want to do? Who do you want to make happy today?
Well, I would not be surprised if it's Viper, right? Because once again, we've talked about the All-Stars for NORG. If we were giving out like amateur awards throughout, the tournaments that qualified you for Proving Grounds, Viper and Anda would have unanimously been the first team top in jungle. I think Fnatic, being the second best jungler that we have seen in amateur. Once again, we talked about, PCL being able to hold up to Viper in the top lane. Fnatic's also done a good job of holding up against Anda in this series, and also just throughout the games that we've seen from Barrage and NORG. A lot of tape to go off of, right, with 2 best of 5s in their match histories. And so excited to see them now take it to each other in Proving Grounds as they get to determine once and for all, who is the king of amateur. As Barrage, they are trying to take the crown of NORG, the crown that Fire has, being the 2-time champ. As still a little bit of a quiet point in the game, and I'm just waiting to see Anda kind of make his way to the top lane after this camp and drop that Rift Herald with a crashing wave to ensure that Jace is getting a lot of that early gold, because, man, Viper already set up for a lot of success in this game with a 20 CS lead, and now Shelly coming into his lane.
Yeah, we're really going to have to see on where Shelly makes her first visit.
He's going top, comes. Man. I know it's like a little bit delayed, and found some chicky nuggies. It's still going top. Look at this,
Yo, okay, well, he soon. He will drop the, he will press the trinket button soon. I still have my hopes that he will take it to the bot side, Give my boy Value a little bit of love, man. Like, come on, man.
Bot you gotta give Value some value, right?
Yeah.
Actually, fun fact about Value, he did just graduate from Maryville University.
Yes, sir.
Part of the reasons that his IGN... Oh, I will stop.
Oh, okay. No APA. Fun facts for you here. That's going to be a APA put to sleep. Good night. Get it taken down now. Winter. Oh, next one to fall. But a big, maybe giving him an out. Flash. No! The W from downtown. Value going to be able to get that snipe. And that's exactly why I think he should get the Rift Herald. No, it's just going to go to mid lane. You were wrong, W, but... I don't even think it changes much.
I was wrong, but hey, they get to use it to crack the mid lane. I'd say that's much more valuable for the side of NORG, as Value from downtown, the finance major from Maryville, cashes in on the long-term investment, able to take that W, elongated W to find the kill, and just like that, we talked about the dominance of NORG, the power that they have on this blue side, able to find a positive play against APA, just poking his head out a little bit too far before Winter was able to help him, and just like that, NORG punishes it immediately on the flip of a switch, and now have a 3k gold lead and mid-turret already down against Barrage.
Whoop. There goes Winter.
Nice. I like the slow-mo. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, it's quite nice knowing then your the little missile from Kaisa is about to kill you in slow, painful fashion. Either way, we are going to be seeing this Cloud Drake get taken down, and it's going to be going gone. And we're just seeing classic NORG gameplay, just an extremely strong early game being translated to probably strong mid game. We're going to really have to see. We're in for a treat on how NORG really runs away with these kinds of leads. Yeah.
There's not much else to say about NORG's early game, man. It's looking real good as that mid tower's down. They have gold on Viper, right? They're checking all the boxes that they need for this win condition. Now, on the consolation prize, the participation trophy for Barrage, that they have been able to secure the first 2 dragons, but this 3rd dragon going to be so scary because they are down quite a bit of gold in their pocketbooks, and if NORG are able to get in the river first, right, this poke and siege from the Zoe, from the Jace, can be so difficult for Barrage to deal with if they aren't able to find a flank. One of those big team fights that we've been teasing that they have the ability to do on the roster. Really going to be up to PCL and Fnatic to find those angles on these beefy frontliners that can create the angles onto the artillery pieces of NORG. Speaking of an artillery piece, Viper starting to get some nice work down on the top lane. I guess he didn't need Shelly to get all the plates. He's just using that mid turret, the fact that he has friends, and Anda once again denying the topside jungle from Fnatic as NORG playing this textbook early game to perfection, or driving their goal lead up to 4K.
Yep, it's absolutely brutal what we're watching at the moment, but if you're a fan of NORG, you will absolutely love what is on your screen right now.
It's beautiful league, man. It's great to see. Yeah, it's great to see these guys.
It's beautiful pain, you know. On one hand, it's like, it's great, yeah. No Organ just getting everything you want, but on the other side, your Barrage is just like, man, we're just losing everything. What do we do?
Yeah, and it's going to be so difficult for Barrage facing this gold deficit, and it's really just going to come down to how they're able to use these teleports, find these flanks, because this is closer to the storyline that we teased, going into the first game, right? The fact that Noorg, they're going to take more tools in the draft to accelerate their early game. We have seen them take those tools and do just that. Whereas Barrage, off the back of APA's mage play, this team-fighting Orianna are going to try and take the tools to be able to really team-fight and play to their strength, which is those team fights sitting here as they... This deficit, it's nice so concerning, though, right? And is he going to get this one before plates drop? I don't think so. It's close.
No! Wait, he did!
No, he didn't. He didn't get the extra goal. It was right at the 14-minute mark.
So close yet so far.
But I'd say up 1.5k gold on average for Viper, which, to be fair, this actually is his average. Like, this is an average game for Viper. He is usually up this amount of gold at 15 minutes, which is just terrifying to think about. Some of the other leads that he's been able to amass against other top laners, as the full court press from Noorg, it's on and it's deadly for Barrage as they're reeling to find solutions. And honestly, I think they are waiting for this dragon to spawn to be their solution, because they are down a lot of gold, but if they are able to find an effective team fight, that is how they can get themselves back in this one. But I'm concerned that at the gold deficit they're at, they're going to even be able to find it. It just may not matter due to the wallet difference.
Yeah, you really have to wonder what it's going to take there, and, I don't really have the opportunity to say just like that, because the execution there from Barrage's team composition and their gold deficit is a lot harder than you would think. And something else I kind of want to know, I love the itemization right now we're seeing from Noorg, right? We are seeing that lifesteal and lethality out of Eclipse. We don't get to see it all the time here, but when we do, it feels great. That's going to allow Viper to consistently apply pressure to the top side, and also it makes them really hard to bully out, as well as, the Void Staff Rush after the Laundries coming out for Flatfire. Given the fact that we have quite a beefy front line here for Barrage, it's a great itemization choice, and I think it's just going to keep benefiting Noorg and really continue to make it more and more difficult for Barrage to really get what they want.
Yeah, as we do have, I like the Void Staff optimization for Fire, just understanding what he's up against. It looks like value is still going for potentially the Lethality or Collector. I actually would really like the Phantom Dancer here. Fun fact, if you go Phantom Dancer on Kai'Sa, I believe you hit your E-Evolve one level earlier. It's kind of nice, being able to go Invis, as this is the scary part of the game for Barrage, right? We're 30 seconds before the Dragon spawns. They have snuck one teleport ward behind the side of Noorg, but Fire is just sitting himself down in the river, and is going to make it so difficult for Barrage to even walk into this objective, as both him and Big taking control over this bottom side jungle. They're using the second Herald to knock down this turret, and Barrage are just getting choked out from the map across the board against Noorg. Doing such a good job of playing the Summoner's Rift so far.
I'm a happy man, Value finally got that Rift Herald in the bot lane. That's gotta feel great. Baby. He cashed in! He cashed in, man! And now we're going to see the second Rift Herald get that double value there. This tower is good as gone here, and the rest of Noorg are just going to make sure to solidify this tower's death here. And honestly, you probably just go to Mountain Drake here and just call it a day. 5 members strong over the bot side here for Noorg. Although Fnatic has other ideas, has Predator looking to stun up Ultimate Viper. Good as gone. They will get it. Goes to APA. That's shutdown going on over to the Orianna. And now they path towards the top side. You can give up the Dragon. That's all right. Get some control into top side and maybe, just maybe, get a little bit more extra. But APA now maybe in a little bit of trouble. That is going to be a huge sleep onto APA by Fire. And again, you cannot count this man Zoe out. This Dragon's going down. Top tier, though, does go down for Barrage. And now Fire continuing to play with the rest of Barrage here. Fnatic strikes so hard to get that Scuttle. We'll eventually get it. And we'll get on out of there eventually as Fire shoots another bubble. Will not get it, but yeah.
He shorts it. You know what, that said, I know that the Dragon goes over to Noorg, but Barrage, they trade for gold, right? Instead of a 7k gold deficit now, they're looking at a 6k gold deficit. At least they find a shutdown. They find something positive for themselves, as Viper does go down again on this chase, still with that CS lead, with being level 12 on the Rift, and the tier stacking is still feeling rather comfortable. Once he gets that mirror mana, is going to be a very powerful champion for the rest of the game. But I mean, at least Barrage, they were able to find something positive, whereas Noorg, I mean, it looked like the perfect setup for them. Viper just overextending just a little bit, going to lead to their demise as Anda now. Intelligent control ward dropped as Barrage were lying in wait, and Baron spawning on the map in a minute 30. It looks like both teams getting a little bit of a head start on setting up around the big purple worm being on the rift and being the next major objective that we'll be up to take.
You know it's a problem when the enemy junglers in your side of the jungle, it senses there's a problem on your side of the jungle. And that's exactly what Anda just did. The red side jungle is his side of the jungle, and speaking of which, Noorg looking to see if they can do anything over in the mid lane. Half HP there! Gorg in a lot of trouble, and will get picked apart by value, but as a result, will trade his life for it. 1-for-1 trade, shutdown going on to Fnatic, but will they continue big now? Maybe in a lot of trouble. Oh, the stun! Double kill for the true bear there, Volibear. Gonna be looking to see if he can get one more, but meanwhile, Firefire gets to Sleepy Trouble Bobble, and will go down. The flash stun will result in Firefire still living alive because of that hourglass, but will go down again to the bear. Fnatic finding more and more kills as the time goes on. Now PCL versus Viper. Who's gonna win? It's probably gonna be Viper leaving the cage match at the top side of the jungle. And 4-for-4 both sides of the map. Neither team is feeling good about that exchange.
I mean, Barrage, they go for the flip, and honestly, the fact that they trade even and get quite a few shutdowns over, I mean, the gold going over to Fnatic isn't perfect in an ideal world, but I'd say that Noorg overreaching a little bit there on the, diving the turret, going pretty deep into the jungle of Barrage. As we get another look at it, Gorka gets chunked out early but big. He's forced to, take a weird route around the rest of this fight, and Winter and Fnatic from, value trading out his life for Gorka. I'd say Barrage trades up, and they see this, and they say, all right, we're just going to keep on going as they get 2 here, but honestly, thanks to some heroics here from Firefire, kind of saves the fight. Going for this kill, ends up giving his life over for, but I mean, that's pretty satisfying if you're the Zoe getting that Battle Star from about a screen away. Nice stopwatch use, but PCL coming in with the ultimate, holding that Q for when Firefire arrives back at the portal, gets knocked up for a lot of damage. As honestly a crazy team fight. The fact that it goes even once again, Barrage, I'd say trading up, getting the shutdown golds, narrowing the gold lead a little bit more once again by another 1K. The good thing for Noorg is that they did crash a pretty big wave into the bot side, so we still have about a 6K gold lead over there for them, but more time bought for Barrage to get themselves back into this one. And with Dragon being 90 seconds away, right now Barrage actually have control over that bot side river, which is really key for them. We talked about the importance of Zoe and Jace getting into the river early. If they keep control over that bot side, they won't be able to do that and set up that dire siege poke scenario that you can do with Zoe and Jace. So it's really key that Barrage are able to hold down that mid lane prio and that control. And Noorg, they're actually trying to break it by starting up the Baron, I believe. They are trying to get Barrage out of their comfort zone, and this is not known by the side of Barrage. It's already at 8.5K. Barrage, they are just seeding this. They don't know what's going on. This could be dire. Baron's now at 4.5K.
They know something's up. They realize that Big's playing a little bit too defensive.
TP,
now
2K,
coming over.
1K.
There's the ultimate will hit. And that is going to be Barry going on over to Noorg. But now the rest of Barrage looking to turn things around. Fnatic is able to get the kill onto Value. But here we go. Double kill onto Fnatic and again. Noorg now maybe in a little bit of trouble. Able to flash away. It's so far a 4v3. 2 members of Noorg behind their tower. And Viper is just going to go on out of there. What a great sneak there from the side of Noorg, and let's see if they can get anything else. Viper now is going to get noticed by Ward. They know that he is behind them, but Sleepy Trouble Bubble hits again onto PCL, and a lot of damage on Gorka. You're in trouble, man. Run, stun, job done. I see the bear from a mile away. Anda really wants it, but now look at this. They're trying to turn onto Viper, but instead he gets one shot. Viper with the one shot into Gorka, and the rest of the team now going to get picked bar one by one again. Barrage are going to lose this fight, and a triple kill for Viper. Well played from Noorg.
And the opener off the Baron looks so good for Barrage, but Viper being on the back half of the fight, the angle for Gorka, it just felt like he was a pigeon in the middle of a shooting range. Bullets coming in from all angles, and he wasn't able to dodge out on all the skill shots, and I can't blame him. That was a beautiful setup from Noorg as we get a second look at the back half of this fight once again. I mean, you had Zoe Paddle Stars from one side, and then you have Viper on another. Barrage, they make the right choice to try and, go for one side of the flank, but Viper just, able to get that speed up from the Eclipse, be able to get in range of Gorka as he didn't have flash and actually already used his flash to dodge out on the first Jace hammer Q coming in for the fight. And with no damage being on the table, Viper just able to clean up the rest of that fight, clean up the map for the side of Noorg, who all of a sudden XT, they had a big lead, but they hadn't found a way to break the game open yet. With that Baron take and that Mountain Dragon take, all of a sudden they have 9k gold in their pockets and a good path to open up the rest of the map as Noorg trying to make this a clean 2-0.
Cerulio's grudge now finished for this Jace, and that's going to be another crucial item to make sure this front line here for Barrage is not able to get anything because of all that armor penetration, and not to mention now an added slow to the EQ combo of Jace, so that Shock Blast is just going to be doing more than just shocking. It's not just going to slow you. It's like a giant snowball there. But speaking of snowballs, you know, the rest of Nowhere, this is just a classic snowballing Nowhere game. They've been on top every single second of the word, and even though they had that messy 4-for-4, we're looking again where Noorg is just controlling the map, and there's just not really much Barrage could do.
Yeah, they're going to get bot lane and Hib just based on rotations here.
Yeah.
With how fast Viper can take a turret, he's now sitting at level 16. He has 2 levels on every single member of Barrage. And oh my goodness.
Gorka,
that is one big shock blast.
Get out of there, man. You gotta heal back up. And Viper right now is just doing everything he can to make sure there's no fun allowed. Okay, that shock blast missed, but thank goodness it did, because now Barrage, they do have a little bit, I don't know if they do have a little bit of a chance or not, but all it takes, man, they gotta play out of their minds, but the rest of Noorg, all they gotta do is just take on this inhibitor. But meanwhile, you see on the middle inhibitor turret, it's gonna go down eventually, thanks to our boy Honda, as he's just putting up his best Tricky G impression, getting that extra backdoor.
And we've talked about, you know, the siege and poke setup around objectives, but when you're this far ahead as Noorg, it's so easy to zone
coming
people
in.
off.
No, Winter, he's gone because Viper said so. Now Value going into the back line, and again, maybe a little bit too overextended, but that does mean the inhibitor goes down, but maybe at what cost? AP now going to be going down. Gorka trying to see if he can get out of there. Gets stunned by the run job. Stun done. You know what they call him. The Udyr from downtown, but this time, Viper's the name of the game. He's going to be the one to just take everyone because of his Jason. Now, game might be over. There's one Canyon minion left. I don't think Noorg are going to be able to end just yet. Fnatic trying to see if he can get anything. Pops the Predator, but is going to get stunned one more time. Viper now going to see if he's able to get this kill. There's the Hourglass going in for Fnatic, and now he's going to go down. Winter now the last remaining member here for the base of Barrage. We thought it would be a lot closer than this, but no, Orcs says, no way! We are the best team in Amateur, and we are going to prove so by taking down Barrage and sending him to the lower bracket, but you know.
Not yet.
Not
quite yet.
Not
yeah,
yet.
Noorg, they decide to rein back, and rightfully so,
Teleport?
because we do have a TP coming in from APA. He's trying to make a play to save the game.
Can he make the quadra? Gets 1 kill for himself. Now there's going to be 2 more people left. Gets the double kill so far. Is going to get the shutdown go. There's the shot blast. Not even powered up by that E and Barrage. They get 2 kills as a response, but they are going to get on out of there. 2 inhibitors down, though. It's looking super, super grim. And, okay. I mean, Winter, you just can't do the flashes forward. Tries to get the kill there, but Viper is just going to get taken down.
I mean, to be fair to Winter, you got to try something at that point, but Viper just too damn strong on the map, sitting at 8, 2, and 5, has 300 CS on the Jace. And man, I cannot wait to see what he buys and how hard those shock blasts are going to be hitting when he gets back onto the Rift after he clears out that top wave. But hey, you know what? Barrage, it's looking grim, but they do everything they can to hold on. That TP from APA, it was needed. He picks up 2 kills with pretty slick play and movement coming out from the young mid laner of Barrage. It's everything he can do to try and save this one, but Barrage still, honestly, looking at a dire scenario. They need a miracle. They need something to go their way as Noorg. All they have to do is just knock down 1 more inhib, and I was asking about what items Viper was going to get. He just one-shot an Edge of Night. Just straight up bought it out of the shop with all the gold that he just based with. And with that shield is going to empower him to play even more forward, even more aggressive on the Jace, where he's already pumping out the majority of the damage. Cannot wait to see how much damage he's dealt at the end of this one, as sitting at level 17 on the Jace, looking to do everything he can to clean up this game for his team, for Noorg, as they assert their dominance as the kings of Amateur once again. And Barrage, they're going to go out with a bang. They want a team fight.
Yep, Fnatic going really, really fast here, but Winter is also going to get caught out himself. No, in fact, it's not Fiverr who's caught out. It's the rest of Barrage. As now They're getting taken down one by one. Viper wants to go in, tries to see if he can get anything. Chocolate going to be doing half HP as Mirage, but look at this value going to be able to get clean up the rest of the fight. It's a clean ace, and let's try this one more time, Cubby. The Kings of Amateur will take down the only ones that could have potentially challenged them in a best of 5, but in a best of 3, you are in no orgs territory, and they're going to get the win to send Barrage to the lower bracket in Proving Grounds, powered by Verizon.
And NoOrg, they've won the last 3 tournaments they've competed in, and even though this one is made up of every single Academy team, that's not stopping them from vying for the top spot in this tournament. They continue their run in Proving Grounds. They've yet to drop a game, and for how good that Amateur has looked throughout the entirety of the tournament, NoOrg still proving that they are the top dogs. They take down the other team that has been the only one that can challenge them, besides, Zeus here and there in best of 3 scenarios. It's been all Barrage against NoOrg, but NoOrg says, nope, we're shutting down that storyline with this win. They take a clean 2-0. They continue their run in the winner's bracket, and will be going up against EGP next week.
Yep, and now we have to see what are we going to see in the upper bracket. On one side, we got Evil Geniuses Academy taking on Cloud9 Academy, where, it's a similar story. Evil Geniuses are coming in as, kind of the underdogs, while Cloud9 have been rolling through their side of the bracket, minus one exception. Zeus did give them a run for money, but on the other side, NoOrg, no challenges here. We're seeing the replays here right now of what we just saw in game number 2, and it's just dominance over dominance here. We saw a really messy 4-4 trade over on the top side of the map, but otherwise the rest of the game, NoOrg just got to do whatever they wanted to do.
And this is the bread and butter comp for NoOrg, right? And the fact that they showed something different this game, I think bodes really well for them as the tournament goes on, just showing that they have another strategy up their sleeve. They beat a great team fighting team in Barrage playing with Teamfight, and now, back to the bread and butter, we see how dominant this team can be on blue side when they get their early game set up, right? The fact that they were up 6k gold when Plates fell, and they really didn't look back since then. This is the NoOrg that we've seen all year. This is the NoOrg that has been winning every tournament in Amateur. Good to see them pull it out in Proving Grounds now and continue their dominance in this tournament, as well as Barrage, the team that pulled the upset of the week last week by taking down Team Liquid 2-0. Now have to make that run through the lower bracket themselves as they fall to NoOrg, and NoOrg taking no prisoners in this tournament so far.
Yep, newly information here for NoOrg. They can basically play whatever they want. Game number 1, we saw something uncharacteristic. They played that teamfight comp, and they played that composition damn well. And in game 2, they played their true bread and butter, take down Barrage in 2 different distinct playstyles. Now they got themselves a game against Evil Geniuses Prodigy. But meanwhile, on the lower side of the bracket, TSM Academy taking on Barrage. It's looking a little bit grim, but we do have an interview coming up here from one of the members here from NoOrg. I'm pretty excited to see and get their thoughts on what just happened here. How you doing, Big? You got that 2-0 just like you wanted, and now you're coming into the upper bracket into the semifinals. How you feeling?
Yeah, it definitely feels good that, we won 2-0, but I'm just a little bit unhappy how we won the first game because it didn't feel like we were that much in control and we were kind of sleeping on it.
Yeah, and I know that the first game we were talking a lot on broadcast about, how usually you're playing towards the top side and making sure that Viper's really set up for success. A lot of that thanks to your roams up there as well. That was a little bit of a different look for you guys with the Seraphine mid and opting for a little bit more team fighting. Is that something that you especially cooked up for Barrage, knowing how much they love the team fight, or just something that you guys have been working on to try and round out your game?
It's a mix of both. The fact that we think that they prioritize things like supported mids and stuff like that. So we thought that Seraphine would be good against them because we can match the scaling and also probably out team fight them too. And in regards to roaming a lot top, honestly, I tried to mix it up a bit because I feel like I sacked my AD too much. So I stopped trying to do that unless it's really good.
Yeah, Value's been on a few islands throughout the entirety of Proving Grounds, but hey, that's why you guys are the, he's on the Senna, he's on the Ezreal, as you guys have some crazy win rates on those champions as well. And it was really nice to see you guys kind of mix up the strategy. I know that for you specifically, Rel has been a big pick for you in this tournament, the newest support. Notably, I think that your game 1, you had some fantastic secondary engages. Thinking back to last week in game 2, you helped carry back, your game against GGA, and it was a rather closely contested game 2. Is that a pick that you feel like is just a strong pick, or something that for you is like something that is really starting to be like your specialty and something that you feel like, you can carry the team on when you get your hands on that champion?
I don't think that it's like my specialty or anything. I do think that it's strong though. It's just that for me, no matter the champion I'm on, whether it's Alistar, Rel, or like any other thing, I feel confident enough that I'll have an impact on the game, for my team. It's just to help my team out in draft.
So what's it looking like for you? Right now, you got yourselves a ticket to the winners semifinals and potentially the finals. How are you feeling about the rest of the tournament now that your next opponent, Evil Genius Prodigies, is waiting for you next week?
Oh, well, I think we're gonna win the whole thing. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not a
let's go.
surprise. I'm not afraid of anything. Like whoever comes, I'm pretty sure we're gonna win.
That's what we'd like to hear, Big. Thank you so much for your time here. I'm super excited to follow the rest of your run here in the tournament with you and the rest of No.org. And best of luck next week as you guys will play in the winners semifinals here in the Proving Grounds powered by Verizon here. And yeah, any last words, Big?
I hope you guys are ready to see you next week. Because we're trying to do a cleanless game again.
All right, No.org speed run for Proving Grounds confirmed. Big congrats on the 2-0, the 4-0 record throughout this tournament. You guys have been looking fantastic. Your play has been looking fantastic. Good stuff today. Congrats on the win. We're excited to see you next week as well.
I'm excited to see you guys next week too. Thank you.
Well, speaking of that, that's very clear and straightforward for No.org's game plan. They just going to win it all, and I'm super excited to see how they're going to be able to do just that, Cubby, as, man, what a quick duo from them.
I love to see, like, the person that's been, really vocal for No.org and just an amateur has been Fire. And I love to see some of the, the confidence and flair that he's been known for kind of bleed into the rest of the team. And it feels like No.org, they're incredibly confident that they can run the table for this entire tournament. And, I mean, who could blame them after you've seen the first 4 games out of their team? I mean, they've had a couple early games where maybe not everything went their way, but their ability to recover and then their ability to also have the early games where things do go their way, and it just looks like the other team can't do anything to stop No.org on the Rift in those early games and how they are able to snowball out those leads. They're definitely a team to watch and a team to beat as we go through the rest of Proving Grounds. And nice to hear Big have that confidence as well. I know that talking to his teammates, the value that he brings in comms, and then just the confidence that the other teammates have gotten throughout playing in amateur. It's good to see that out of Big as well. With him having a long stints in Academy and LCS, still being able to prove that, he is someone that can be considered to hop up to those next levels still as well. Playing really, really well on the Rel and the rest of the champions as him and his team managed to take a 2-0 over Barrage.
Well, that's one side of the story here for today in our final day of week number 2, but we got ourselves another series coming up. Wildcard Gaming is going to be taking on Immortals Academy when we return from our break. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss the rest of Proving Grounds powered by Verizon. Stay tuned.
Verizon believes everyone deserves the best. That's why we start with 5G from America's most reliable network.
Verizon 5G is next level.
Then give families plans to mix and match, so you only pay for what you need starting at $35.
You get so much more than this, a great network.
And offer the best in entertainment on select unlimited plans, like Disney+, Hulu, and ESPN+, as well as Discovery+, with a Galaxy S21 Plus 5G when you buy one. There's no reason to settle for less than the best, only from Verizon.